last night was one for the books. Shout out to TickPick, one of our best sponsors, for hooking us up with some awesome seats to the 76ers game. To say the least, the 302 Mafia was in full effect, and we had a blast at the Sixers game. Welcome to another episode of 302 Birds, Season 4, Episode 8. Blessed to be here with all of my awesome co-hosts. How we doing tonight?
Pretty good.
Fantastic. I'm in a little pain.
The light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah, let everybody know what happened, Jack. I'll be right back.
Yeah, so I was at the Sixers game last night, right? We're leaving our seats. I spilled 2 drinks last night, and I was walking out of my seat, walking down the steps, and I just ate shit and slipped down 6 or 7 steps, and now I have a big-ass bruise on my ass right now, and it hurts to sit down. So, yeah, that's how I'm doing. I'm in pain, a lot of pain right now, for sure.
Yeah, no, that what I heard. I mean, I didn't actually see it happen, but from
There
what
was
I
a
heard,
thump.
apparently from what I heard from other people that were in the section, they said it was a big thump, and you could see his Allen Iverson jersey got ruined as well. So, did you guys see that?
That was a classic one he was wearing too.
Yeah, it was.
That's the real tragedy of this all.
We're all good. I mean,
Way to remind him. You could just see the look on his face. He's like, fuck you guys. Thank you for reminding me.
Yeah, no, it was not fun. So I have to sit on a donut now, which is not enjoyable at all.
Donut. Make
But other than that,
make sure you don't get icing on your butt.
yeah, no, it's not the one you eat, you idiot. It's an inflatable donut. Other than that, I'm doing fantastic. Sixers got a big win last night. That was a game that should have been a lot less close because Jalen Brown wasn't playing and Robert Williams wasn't playing. But it was fun to be there. PJ Tucker popped off 3 threes back to back to back, which was nice to see. But yeah, Tommy, you look cute today, buddy. Hit it.
Time for Phillies talk. Time for Phillies talk with Ballpark Tommy.
Finger stitch.
Dinger's Dutch.
Finger stitch. It's been.
What you got for us, Tommy?
It's 1-5. They look pathetic. It's the only word that I can think of. They have been pathetic. Gave up believe it was 37 runs in that first series against the Rangers. Started 1-5. They were only competitive in one game. They blew a 5-run lead to start the season. Today, the offense forgot what to do. Gregory Soto, every other time he goes out there, it's either he looks like the reincarnation of Cy Young, or he looks like some little leaguer walking out to the mountain and he just goes Dinger's Dutch.
Yep. Exactly.
Not great.
I don't want Connor Brogdon anywhere near this team anymore. Yunor Marte, thank God, is down the minors because I think the only thing he knows how to serve up is a homer. Next thing he'll be serving up is a nice Big Mac at McDonald's.
Whoa.
Trey Turner's the only bright spot. He came as advertised, at least. He's turning singles into triples into homers. He's stealing bases left and right. Like, he's doing as advertised.
Yeah.
That's probably my only bright spot I got out of this.
Yeah, I would say, honestly, it is really tough. I mean, obviously the season isn't over. With baseball, I wouldn't say that. I mean, I know right now
we are going 1-161.
I know, but here's the thing. It's a little iffy now. But, I mean, the way that they lost that first game against the Rangers where they gave up a 5-point lead, I think, honestly, that really kind of signified the whole rest of the series and was just like, okay, yeah, it's going to be a downfall series. We're going to get swept. We're going to get embarrassed. And that's what happened with the Phils. I mean, that's point blank what happened. And then the first game against the Yankees, I mean, they got embarrassed that day. And then yesterday was a little bit better. I mean, you got to see Schwarber hit his 200th career homer. That was great to see. And then Marsh went yard as well. But, yeah, that's the only bright side, to be honest. The only bright side, I mean, Trey's had the triple, as Ballpark said, as Tommy said. And, yeah, hopefully we can bounce back. Well, not tomorrow, but now Friday because they just postponed it. So,
Oh wow.
you didn't know that?
What time is it Friday now?
3 o'clock.
I don't know. What time is
It's
it?
3.
We going to the ballpark? Maybe we are.
Maybe.
Change things. We'll have to look at it now.
Okay.
All I got to say is it's opening week for baseball. It doesn't really matter. Phillies don't look as good as they are supposed to be.
It matters, Jackson. Everything matters. As soon as the season starts, it matters.
It doesn't. It really doesn't.
It matters.
No, because
Yes.
I mean, they're not doing that well. I mean, obviously, these new players got to get transitioned to the Phillies, how they play and things like that. But I'm not worried at all because April baseball doesn't really matter at all.
I am petrified.
June, July, that matters. But open season for the first month of baseball doesn't matter.
Open seasoning.
So, what's your favorite brand of seasoning? McCormick?
Yeah.
No, whatever, Tom, whatever you serve me on a silver platter. That's what my favorite seasoning is.
There is one bright spot though. Do you guys know what Tuesday is? Tommy, you want to tell the crew what Tuesday is?
I don't know. What's Tuesday?
Oh, yeah, take it away. On Tuesday, we'll be having a Philadelphia Classic. The over-under on Tommy's Dollar Dog Night is 8.5 on the Cut app. I'm taking the over. Last year, 9 innings, Tom ate 8 dogs. This year, 9 innings, 9 dogs. 9 innings, 9 dogs. I don't care if that 9th dog has to be shoved down Tom's throat. I'm making Tom take the over, so he's personally invested in it. But everybody should take the over. Point is, bet it on Cut. It's going to be a ton of fun, and we will be there. And we'll have a couple surprises up our sleeve. But there are still a few bright spots. I like what Jack said. It's still early in the season. I mean, this is a fucking awful start. But here's the bright spot about baseball. If you're 1-5 to the start of the NFL season, you're fucked. Season's over, literally. I get that. Baseball, it's 6 games out of 160. You're
162.
And the thing is, Bryce Harper isn't even here yet, which actually bridges us perfectly into our next topic, Tom, because I'm hearing some rumors that Bryce might be back. I mean, he's taking his first on-field batting practice since surgery. How are we feeling about B-Harp?
Feeling great about B-Harp. B-Harp looked good taking live BP today. Hey, they said after him hitting today, they're more concerned about him sliding than head first than they are him hitting, because they said him sliding is going to take more of a toll on his elbow than him hitting. I don't really know how that is, but then again, I'm not a doctor, so but they said the way that the surgery works and how they have to tighten things up in his elbow, you're more likely to re-rupture that tendon when you slide head first into a base than you are swinging a bat or throwing the ball. So it's all in due stride. That he felt good today, that he looked good today, I think are all good signs that end of May, early June is still a good possibility for him, in which they need his leadership in the dugout right now. Have you seen how they've played, Dutch? They are 1-5. If they play another series like this, you might as well just wrap it up. If they play like this against the Reds this weekend, I'm calling to wrap it up, because the Reds are a putrid team this year. And if they do not at least win 2, they're in a slump themselves. So if they don't win at least 2 against the Reds, they bet by the time Bryce comes back, we might as well save him for September. Let him have a full season's rest.
So, Tom,
yes.
What do you think about Bryce Harper's comments about the pitch clock? Did you hear that?
I think he's right.
Comment?
It's a clown show with the pitch clock. We're being robbed of great moments. I get it. We gotta let the TikTokers like Dutch get their way, because they can't. They have the attention span of a squirrel.
Did you guys hear that?
He also has moves like a squirrel too. He was just moving like a squirrel.
Apparently.
God damn! Please don't ever do that again, Dole.
But we're getting today. As much as it benefited the Phillies with a pitch clock violation, and a lot of these guys are you're not seeing an improved product. You're seeing a rushed product. Like, think about like when you do a school project, KJ. Hey, when you do it last minute, is it a masterpiece? No.
Oh yeah, for me, yes, always.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. Here, but when you take your time and do something and do it right, it turns out fabulous, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what
is a very good artist. There you go.
That's what this has become. The MLB is a laughing stock right now because they're just trying to put on a product out there. They're not trying to put out the best product. They're just trying to put out a product. I love the shift being taken away. I do love that. Bryce actually did like the shift because then he was like, fine, you want to shift everyone to the first base side? I'll bunt down the third base line for a hit. I'll do whatever it is that my team needs. I personally love seeing the shift going because now we're seeing real baseball being played. You get to see base hits. Guys actually have to like hit it to like earn their way on base. I love this as a fan. I also do like the larger bases because the there being more steals in the game is actually better too because now all of a sudden you're putting pressure on the pitchers, putting pressure on the defense to perform, or there's runners in motion. Like there's a lot more going on now rather than, okay, made it to first base. I'm just going to sit here, have my hot dog, have my sunflower seeds. Maybe I'll spit a little, give a wave to mom in the stands,
hopefully not spit on anybody though.
Yeah, no, that's gross.
Yeah.
But
like Trae Young.
Yeah.
What the Knicks fans did to Trae Young.
Yeah.
How are you feeling about this whole thing, KJ, with B Harp? Like, what's your opinion on it? I know you're.
I was surprised that he said that on like televised TV. He said that on ESPN because he was asked about the pitch clock, and he said in quotes, "We all want our old game back." So, and it's weird because I've heard from a lot of other people where I've heard, "Oh my God," and even from like people think that all the older baseball fans don't like the pitch clock. I've heard a bunch of people say, and they're older, and they're like, we love the pitch clock. I love the pitch clock. So it's like mixed signals I've been hearing. For me,
I hate it, personally.
Yeah, I kind of get why they had to do it, though, because I feel like it was just like, honestly, people were tuning out of the game because it was so long. And then people were just like, okay, you know what, we got to do a pitch clock. Maybe add, as I said before in the other episodes, maybe add like maybe 20 seconds, maybe 25. Because they're not going to ever go back to what it was. It's just once it's changed, they're not gonna go back to it. I just don't think so. I don't see it happening.
Well, I mean, and there's stats from like last season, like this time last season, like the number of hits, stolen bases, and clearly, strikeouts. This season, the first 5 games. The stats have been a lot better, more strikeouts, more runs. So, I mean, I understand, the reasoning for it. I like it personally because it makes the game's still long, but it's not as, overbearing as 3 hours of watching a game. Like, I do like the pitch clock a lot. It makes the game run a lot smoother and quicker, personally.
Yeah, I'm with Jack. I personally find it more enjoyable to watch right now because it is faster. But again, I also understand what Jack and KJ are saying, that it does at times. I understand both sides of it, but for me, I've also enjoyed that, it does go by faster.
Yep, that's 100% why it's better now, because people like me can sit down and watch the game. The one thing I will say, though, Tom, that I don't like that when I go to the stadium, I have less time at the stadium. I will say that. There is an aspect about being at the ballpark for 4 or 5 hours almost. That's like, it's 4 hours, I would say, is probably the perfect time. I don't want any more. I don't want any less. 4 hours is perfect. Realistic, 2 hours and 45 minutes is pretty quick. Like, what's been the quickest game this year?
The quickest game was, I forget I think it was Detroit and Miami were playing. Miami won 1-0. It was an hour and 57 minutes.
Yeah, wow. That's ridiculous. Like, I think that the shortest the game should be allowed to be would be like 3 hours. I feel like if you're paying for a ticket, you should at least have 3 hours worth of baseball. But at the same time, I also feel like 4 hours is that sweet spot to where if I'm there for 4.5 hours, I'm like, I have things to do. And it's nothing against baseball. It's just like I'm saying I would go as a fan as to like 3 or 4 baseball games a year because then you have the tailgate on top of that. I don't know. It's interesting. It's an interesting time to be a baseball fan. I don't think that there's a right or wrong answer. I just think if
I
you
could go for 8 hours.
Oh, I know you could be there for 24/7. Christmas there, morning, like fucking like mowing the lawn,
going down the slide, whatever they got, the kids section or whatever they got. They used to have it.
In all seriousness, if they could find a way to be within like 3.5 hours to 4.5 hours, that's the sweet spot where they want to be to market it, I think. But where it's also long enough to where the authentic fans, people like Tom, would feel like, okay, this isn't that bad. An hour and 58 minutes is ridiculous. I would honestly feel like, and I'm not even a baseball fan, I feel like I got robbed. Like I'd be like, you can't even really get like, I think 2 drinks or 3 drinks within that time. So
yeah, because it's a long line. The long
you
line.
can. I'm just saying,
Well,
like, you're like not an alcoholic and you're like just chilling and you're like having like 1 drink, you're gonna be like, holy shit. It's
also Aramark's not gonna move faster. You think any of those Aramark people are really gonna move faster?
Yeah, that's true. I'll tell you what.
And then they turn around the thing and they want you to tip. It's like, what did you tip? Nothing. What should I be tipping you for? Nothing. You literally just scanned my food. That's all you did. To make sure I wasn't stealing.
Last night I gave a solid tip when we were at the Farg, which is actually perfect timing for
And this is brought to you by TickPick. It's not chalkboard, so because I'm not going to say why not chalkboard. But yeah, so the Sixers, oh my gosh, we were at that game. That was a crazy game against Boston. We just saw our Boston fan, Boston X in the comments, and Xavier, who was really salty before the game, was saying some very vulgar words towards us and the Sixers faithful. But you know what? We were able to spank that Boston butt last night. That was awesome. And I don't want to hear from the Boston fans, oh, we didn't have Jalen Brown. Oh, we didn't have Robert Williams. Don't want to hear it. You know what? Injuries happen. It sucks. Hopefully they make a recovery. But guess what? We won the game fair and square. And Al Horford is still a bum. He really is. So I hate that guy. I really do. But yeah, what a great game by Embiid. What? You don't hate Al?
Why do you hate Al? I don't hate Al. I have nothing to hate against Al. I mean, I don't like Al. I'll agree with that. But I don't hate Al. Does anybody in here hate Al Horford, Tom?
I hate how he left.
Yeah. Yeah, Dol. You're not a real Sixers fan if you do not.
I guess I'm not. Horford. I mean, I don't hate him.
Hold on, Dol. You get pissed off at me and fired up when I'm like, oh, I'm not really pissed off at Carson Wentz and how he left. I think Al Horford left on even worse terms than Carson.
He did. His sister was talking shit about Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Also,
at least Carson was smart enough not to shit talk Philly.
Yeah.
I mean, he kind of did on his way out, just saying.
Also, I was sitting next to TJ last night, and thanks, TJ, for coming out. Appreciate it. And him and I were like, it's crazy. Like, Al Horford has a lot more energy on offense and defense on the Celtics, where when he was on the Sixers, there was none of that. No. He didn't try at all. So, I mean, and then 3J Tucker. Come on now. That was insane. The arena was electric when he hit those threes because it was, I think we were up 3. Celtics went down, scored 3. We tied it. PJ Tucker tied it. Celtics went up again. We tied it again, and then we took the lead. So 3J Tucker, oh my God, that arena was electric when those all went in.
It was awesome.
And Embiid, oh my God, the whole stadium was shouting MVP.
Yeah. MVP.
And that man dropped 50 points. I think he had 14 rebounds.
52, I think, right?
52.
Yeah, because he made the foul shots. You're right. Yeah. 52 at the end. But it was awesome environment. We were shit talking the Boston fans that were in front of us, which was awesome.
AJ and KJ buried the hatchet, and now they're besties after shit talking that Boston fan. Together.
We're pretty cool. We're pretty cool now, me and AJ.
I will say, it scares me a little bit because granted, they didn't have Jalen Brown and Robert Williams, and Jason Tatum couldn't make a bucket the first 10 minutes of the game. So we got lucky. If we play them, because we're probably going to play them in the second round this year, because we're probably going to play, Brooklyn first round. But come playoffs, I think it's going to be a different team. So it's good to get a win. We won by 2. But I'm a little nervous because it should have been a lot more than 2 points. Just how the teams are playing. But
Joel played insane. He played crazy. I mean, out of his mind. And I believe last night Jokic only had 14 points for the Nuggets. So I mean, if he does lose this MVP race, it is literally a robbery once again. It really is, and it just shows that they might be playing favorites or whatever they're doing. But I don't know. I mean, Embiid is making a statement right now. He's averaging like 30-plus points a game. He's scoring multiple 50-point games. He's going insane. So I love to see it, and it was great to see it in person. And, yeah, I mean, to see all those Boston fans, they were very cocky. And I was even talking to some after the game, and they were like, yeah, we always come to certain stadiums always cocky, and like we always act like we're going to win, and then sometimes we lose. So. But, yeah, we kind of do the same thing with Philly sports. But, yeah, it was a good game. I'm glad we got to go. Yeah, it was crazy.
No, it was a blessing to be there. And you and Sean and AJ were the star hecklers. I mean, if you were in a green jersey last night in Wells Fargo Center, I'm pretty sure you heard one of those 3 buffoons yell at you. I mean, these guys were letting them have it. It was awesome. It was great. And, you couldn't have asked for a better atmosphere. It was a competitive game, and that's kind of what you want to see. I mean, you don't really want to see a blowout. It was until the wire. It was until the end. And, I mean, the Sixers came out and did what they needed to do to win. Yes, Jalen Brown didn't play, which obviously is a big point. But at the same time, I mean, wins win. I mean, and this is good momentum going into the playoffs because, hey, it could have been a lot worse. It could have been typical Sixers fashion, which is we fucking choked the game away at the end. And then tonight on the podcast, instead of saying, hey, we won, but there's no Jalen Brown, we're saying, I can't believe they fucked it up again. So, I mean, there's 2 different sides to the story. I'm just saying. And I did have to respect Xavier for apologizing after he talked shit. That does take nuts, Xavier. So if you are watching this, you have my respect for that. But KJ, MVP race. I mean, every time this man was shooting a foul shot last night, the whole place was cheering it. What are you thinking? I mean, is it finally his year?
Oh, yeah. I think out of all the years, I mean, it's honestly, he should get the MVP. I mean, I know it was a little iffy last year. And people were like, yeah, he should have got the MVP. But this year, he's clear cut. And honestly, if it does not happen and he does not win the MVP and Jokic wins it, there's something wrong. There really is something wrong. Because there's no times – I haven't even seen it this season where Embiid scores, 10 points? Because Jokic has done that. Jokic has had games where he scored 6 points or whatever. I mean, that's just the difference between these guys. I mean, I know Jokic does some other things on the court where he's a great passer. He gets triple doubles when it comes to assists and points, and then rebounds as well. But at the same time, though, I mean, if you go from a most dominant kind of center race, you go with Embiid. I mean, he's more, I would say, Shaq-like than Jokic is. But also, I mean, it just sucks because if Jokic does win this MVP, you're going to hear a bunch of Nuggets fans saying, Jokic is the next Shaquille O'Neal. Jokic is the next best center. And it's really not true, to be honest. It really isn't. I think he's one of the most overrated players ever in the history of basketball. He just is, straight up. But, yeah, Nuggets fans are going to they love this guy, and they have every right to. I mean, they're sticking with their guy. But Embiid has really got to just keep on going. And hopefully the Sixers can keep on going as well. But then at the same time, get the MVP trophy, but then get the NBA Finals trophy. That's what you got to go for. So that should be Embiid's mindset, and I think it is.
Yeah, I think it all comes down to, honestly, it comes down to the players, unfortunately. And that's the one downfall I think that doesn't work out in Embiid's favor is Embiid is popular as a player as he is, I think, globally and around the world and amongst fans. I don't think that he's that popular amongst the NBA. And that's not all his fault. I mean, he's a fiery player, especially when he was younger. He used to do a lot of immature shit. And I think that unfortunately, that has negatively impacted him now. I mean, not to where like we care as Philly fans. We obviously want to see him win an MVP. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying we're focused on championship. And I think that he is too. I'm just saying, like, looking back on it now, I wonder how much of his attitude, like, you know, you see some of these other players like LeBron James that, you know, for the most part, they're like, hey, man, they're buddy with everybody, dapping everybody up. Embiid isn't like that. You know, the guys that he's cool with, he loves them. You know, they're his guys. And you see that love. The guys that he's not cool with, I mean, he's a heckler and they hate him pretty much. Like, yeah, he's made up with some people like Kat. That whole thing happened. But I just think, honestly, Embiid is always going to have this negative shadow casted on him because of, number one, his past, and then number two, the fact that he's in Philadelphia. He just has a target on his back. And because of those two things coupled together, it's almost like the perfect storm for Jokic to just win it. Because KJ's right. Jokic is not, you know, a generational center like Embiid is. He's not doing the things that Embiid is. He's having 10-point games, whereas Embiid is literally the franchise. Jokic is just efficient. And I'm not saying he's not, you know, fantastic at what he does. He's the most efficient player in the NBA.
Yeah,
I'm just saying Embiid sells jerseys. Embiid sells tickets. Embiid, you know, posterizes things. Embiid is just like Shaq. And there's just something to be said for that, I think, entertainment factor that comes along with basketball too, at least in my opinion.
Yeah. What do you guys
That
got?
is all we got, though, I think, for the
Yeah, that's all we
Sixers.
got.
Anybody got anything else that they want to say?
Anybody else?
No,
No?
I think so.
So I want to talk about something I was thinking about last night when we were sitting at the Farg, as I call it, if JJ Seglio is watching this episode at Wells Fargo. I was thinking about what's my favorite place in Philadelphia to catch a game? Would it be Citizens Bank Park? Would it be the good old-fashioned Link? You know, I'm obviously a diehard Eagles fan. The Eagles are my favorite, but it's cold as shit at the Link, you know? Or is it Wells Fargo Center? Whenever I'm, you know, constantly entertained the whole time. So, I mean, I will kick it to you guys first, and I will save my answer for the end. But in your guys' opinion, out of all the Philadelphia stadiums we have right now, I mean, obviously the Sixers are getting ready to be on their way out of the Wells Fargo Center. Where's your favorite place to catch a game and why?
I gotta go with Hagen Arena.
Oh my God.
No, I'm kidding.
Personally, okay, so this is
Push it to Jack, not me. Push it to Jack.
this is
I
like
don't need
I
to say
like
it.
I like the environment, the fan base at the Link, okay? But like you said, I'm constantly entertained at Wells Fargo with the, you know, after every quarter they have a little skits or whatever. They shoot T-shirts. They had at halftime that Red Panda who did like toss bowls on her head. That was cool. Music's constantly playing in the background, so you're not like it's not silent. So it's kind of hard because, like I said, I like the environment at the Link. I like the fan base better there. But at Wells Fargo, I'm constantly entertained. I get to have little side conversations. Like I'm like not screaming to have a conversation with the person next to me. So it's like I don't know. It's hard because I guess I got to go with. I mean, my background's the Eagles, so I got to go with the Link. But I mean, Wells Fargo is a close second, without a doubt.
All right. I mean, that was what I thought you were going to say. KJ, what's yours?
Yeah, I agree with what Jack's saying. You really cannot have side conversations at the Link. It's really hard. I mean, when you do, it's maybe about like a certain play or whatever, or you complain about something. But yeah,
I think it
feel
does
like,
depend on the time of the year too. Like if you're there like September on that Saints game, that game I was having a lot of side conversations. Just saying.
Yeah, I would say honestly too. The difference is I didn't lose my voice from last night. As much as I did yell, as much as I did heckle people as a joke, I didn't lose my voice. Which at the Eagles game, I almost every time I go, because I do have season tickets. Shout out to my dad. But yeah, I go to like almost every home game, and I lose my voice almost every week. Like I'll go to school and like I'll have no voice, so I won't talk at all, which is funny as heck. But yeah, I would honestly have to go with from a fan environment. Yeah, it's got to be Wells Fargo Center with the Flyers and the Sixers. They do a lot of fan kind of activities. I mean, shooting shirts out, gritty, pieing people in the face. But then when the Link's there, I mean, Swoop doesn't really do anything. He just goes around in a little cart or whatever, or he'll go, but he doesn't really interact with the fans when it comes to it. He just doesn't. But yeah, I would say honestly, yeah, the Link is more authentic. I feel like I get more of the Philly experience there. But then Wells Fargo Center is just more fan experience. But I would go with the Link, though. I would go with the Link.
Okay, I'll go next. In my opinion, I think you guys all know what I'm going to say. Obviously, Citizens Bank Park is my favorite place to go watch a game.
Oh, wow, I'm surprised.
What's the matter, Tom? Where you at, Tom? Look at his face. He's like, what the fuck, Dutch?
Yeah, I'm surprised.
Hear me out. If you could put the Eagles in Citizens Bank Park, look at this fucking picture. I mean, look at this. I did this
what they used to
strategically.
do at Veterans Stadium?
Yes, I think that's so cool, personally. Now, I do like all of them having their own stadium. The Link, the atmosphere is awesome. But there's just something about going to, like, look, my favorite event to go to is an Eagles game. I will say that. But my favorite place to just watch a sporting event, the whole atmosphere, the food, the talking, the atmosphere, losing my voice, like all of these things combined, I think it's Citizens Bank Park. I really thought about it. And every time I'm there, I always love just being able to sit down, have a couple drinks with my friends, catch the game. You never know if a ball might come to you. You're like, oh, I might barehanded. Who knows? Whoa. But anyway, like you're sitting there on DraftKings, you're a little bit fired up, making a couple bets. There's just a certain atmosphere at the ballpark, and it's the weather, it's the people. Every time I go to a Phillies game, it's just a vibe. So I'm going to lock in Citizens Bank Park with probably the most wild card answer of the night. But Citizens Bank Park, props to you guys for having a phenomenal atmosphere, phenomenal food, and just being, I think, personally the best place to catch a Philly sporting event. No disrespect to the Link or Wells Fargo. Like Jack said, I think props to Wells Fargo for keeping you constantly entertained, whether it's a Flyers or a Sixers game. That's something, I think that goes as the unsung hero all the time because the atmosphere at the Link is always, so fucking different. We're a football city. That's what we're known for. But, yeah, I mean, Citizens Bank Park for me, baby. Tommy, what's yours?
This is actually a tougher one than I thought.
It is, isn't it? I struggled on it too.
So the clear and obvious last place one's Wells Fargo for me. That one immediately, last place, not even a chance. The seat, they made this. I'm a bigger dude, Dutch, so this is a problem that I have. The seats when you're in the second level are super narrow. And Jack, I'm not sure if you had this problem too. You're about the same size as me.
Oh no, he had a different problem with slipping.
No, because his drink was like in such a tight space when he was putting it down. We had no fucking space when we got there.
Yeah, you have no space. You're cramped. The food's okay at best. It's well overpriced. It's even more overpriced than Citizens Bank Park and the Link. And like the entertainment's just okay. It's not like to me.
Damn.
Like it's
you don't
not
like
really
the
that.
Sixers sticks, Tom? You don't like the fucking?
I bet you Ballpark would not like Red Panda then. Like, what is this shit? Come on!
I don't know who Red Panda is. Maybe that's a sign I'm getting old, KJ. I think I've had a lot of signs.
I can catch some
plates
in my head.
It was some Circus Dole shit, Tom.
Yeah, but the Link I love for to me like what you were saying, Dutch. Philadelphia is at its heart and core a football city, but at that same time, it makes it almost like a family experience. Like everyone goes. You might not know the guy next to you, but he likes the Eagles, and you can bust his chops and he can bust yours about the Eagles. So it's kind of like this camaraderie, going about. But and I'm gonna bring it home with Citizens Bank Park. There's a magic there, Dutch. You just don't get in any of the other stadiums.
Oh boy, magic!
there's a magic. You walk in, you smell that fresh cut grass, you smell the peanuts roasting, you smell the wieners being rolled. Oh, like there's just like that childhood nostalgia coming back every time you come back to the ballpark. Eric, like I walk into Wells Fargo, I feel like I'm just part of like I'm a slave to corporate society. They want me just to hand over my credit card. I walk into the link and I have to get drunk, but I walk into Citizens Bank Park and it's like an old friend like welcoming me back with a warm hug. Like you have this nostalgia, like it's just so pure. It's so magic. It's so nice. Even those 10 years where they were out of it, I loved every second coming back because just the atmosphere, the experience of being in Citizens Bank Park is overwhelming. It's amazing, and it's just so wholesome again.
Yep. No, I agree with that. You're right. Like even the entertaining activities, like for the little kids. Like I know last year I made a TikTok, little fucking Jimmy, like went like fucking like 1 for fucking 7 on his wiffle ball pitches. If I was his dad, I'd be like fucking revoking his like wiffle ball privileges. But anyways, like no, seriously, props to John Middleton and the Phillies ownership for knowing what their city wants and really making Citizens Bank like a family atmosphere. So I do think that that's a great point, Tom, because you know, you could be like fucking Comcast that shits the fucking bed.
Yeah. It doesn't care about the fans at all.
No, they don't.
They really don't.
I feel like they're begging me to hand over my credit card as soon as I walk in.
Shut up, Tom. We don't give a fuck what you got to say. Just give us your card, damn it. That's all you're good
come
for.
on. Watch the game. Watch us lose by
essentially. He goes essentially.
Like you walk, no, seriously. Goals. So you scan your ticket, you walk in, and right away there's a thing to buy jerseys. There's a guy asking you if you want to sign up for this thing, so then you can get your credit card charged monthly for like a Flyers subscription or a Sixers subscription.
You don't want to join the Flyers?
There's like all this like all this like corporate stuff to like get you to pay for a for some sort of subscription right away. You're just being hounded right away to like buy stuff, and it's annoying.
It is. No, like seriously, it's fucking dumb. And I think that the Phillies, like we said, knowing what your city wants, knowing your people. We don't want to get fucking sold phony bullshit when we're walking into a stadium. We just want to be able to walk in and either get drunk or have a good time with our family. I mean, it's one of the two things. You know, you're at a certain age in Philadelphia where you're either there to get plastered or you're there to have a great time with your family. And, you know, both ways, it's awesome. Mm-hmm. Jack?
I already said my 2 piece.
Ash?
So yeah, I'm gonna be the eyeball out here. I have been to Citizens Bank a couple of times, not for a couple of years, but those games were so much fun. Have very fun memories. My brothers were significantly younger, so they had so much fun with all of because they were kids at the time, kids activities and stuff. And then the link, I have yet to go to an actual Eagles game. I was there for some spring training thing back in the Chip Kelly era. So it has been a while. But it's been a while. But again, like there's something about just being around all of those Eagles fans, and there is a camaraderie around being around Eagles fans and the banter surrounding them that I just love. And I have yet to be at Wells Fargo, but those are my
You're not missing much at Wells Fargo. I'll tell you that.
Clearly.
I don't know. I think Wells Fargo, it gets a bad rap, but I think it's down to ownership and it's down to structure that are its two biggest downfalls.
I used to like it a lot more when Ed Snyder was running the show.
Oh, yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong. Like, there's a clear difference in how Wells Fargo's run now and how Wells Fargo was ran under Ed Snyder.
Do you think that Wells Fargo will be too big for just the Flyers, though? That's an interesting point, too. Like, do you think that's like a surplus? No?
No, they're not going to – I know what you're trying to say, Dolt. Like how Arizona, the Coyotes, how they just – like those fans have, like, given up on that team. They don't care about their team at all, where they actually had to actually move to a college stadium. The Arizona – I'm dead serious. Tommy knows. They moved to the Arizona State stadium, and it's like the the capacity has like went down. What was it like? How much is it now? I think it's like
it's terrible. It's like high school numbers. I know what you're talking about, but like
that's what I'm trying to say. Like,
think that would ever happen though? With like, you guys don't think that?
I don't know, because I feel like a bunch of people like they fall for the trap though with the Flyers. I feel like the Flyers have a trap. They're like, oh, come on in. We're gonna take all your money. You know what? Believe in our hockey team. Believe in us. And then you lose by like freaking 4 goals. And you just start focusing about what the heck Gritty does on the sideline by pieing someone or whatever. That's all that they're trying to do. That's why they brought in Gritty in the first place, because they knew that the product on the ice was going to suck. So that's why they brought Gritty in.
So last season, I'm reading an article, was their lowest full season. Last season, the Flyers averaged just 16,541 fans per game, which is actually pretty good considering that its capacity is 21,000. That's actually great when it was their worst season ever since 1972 to 73. So it was at 84.4% last year, it looks like, which, I mean, honestly, that's still going to keep the lights on. That's better than I thought. And I mean, I just think like it's going to be so weird not seeing all the teams in South Philadelphia in a couple of years, wherever the Sixers decide to go in about a decade.
I definitely think once the Sixers leave Wells Fargo, you're going to see not that many fan base at Wells Fargo for the Flyers, because they're going to suck no matter what. So we'll see. You know, that's going to be like the, you know, big statement. Like, if the Sixers leave, like, who's going to fill those spots? Because I feel like the only reason why people still come back to Wells Fargo is because the Sixers are kind of relevant, like the past couple of years. So we'll see what happens when they move, you know, to a different stadium, but it's going to be sad.
And what we got you on camera, handsome.
Time for everybody's favorite part of the show, 302 Trivia, with your host, Jack Dalton, the mayor of Delaware.
Thanks again, Fantasy Football Network. Appreciate the sponsorship. Tonight's question we got is, as the end of the 2020 season, how many Super Bowl championships have been won by the NFC East? Again, as the end of 2020 season, how many Super Bowl champions have been won by the NFC East teams? A, 10, B, 11, C, 13, D, 15. Please give me your answer in the comments, and Asher, give me your answer. Dalt, give me your answer. KJ, give me your answer. Tommy, give me your answer.
And then real quick, I'm going to flash up the, whatchamacallit on the screen. The scoreboard.
Is everybody going to ignore the fact that Jack just had a horrible Texas accent?
Yeah.
Cowboys fans in the comments are probably going crazy.
No, Tom, you missed it. You're supposed to text it to me, not put in the chat.
You put it in the group chat. I'm not going to look at the group chat because I don't know the answer. But here's the score. If you want to read it out, Jack, I'm going to put it up right now for you. Here you go.
Tommy's not up there because the past 2 weeks when we've been doing this, he's been busy.
He died.
Yeah. So,
all right.
Yeah, it's not like I really want what I had to go do. I really wanted to do.
No, right.
Okay,
I got you.
You can go do people's taxes.
You can be the fans, Tom. You count as fans.
So the fans have 2. KJ McCoy has 3. Sean has 2, the bodyguard. Dalton Goldilocks has 3.
Goldilocks.
Ash is leading the leaderboard with 4. So
all right, I'm coming for you, Ash. You better get this question wrong tonight.
I don't think I did. I felt pretty confident in this one when I sent it in.
I don't even know what the answers are, so I'm going to read it at the bottom.
I kind of forgot what the freaking question was. So,
well, you can read it at the bottom.
I'll read it again.
Oh yeah, now I see it. Okay. Yep.
Okay. All right.
Do you want to read it again or no?
I guess I will.
No, I got it now.
KJ is struggling. So, KJ, this is look at me in the eyes right now. Look at me in the eyes. As the end of the 2020 season, how many Super Bowl championships have been won by the NFC East teams?
Okay.
A10, B11, C13, D15.
Bingo.
You got that, KJ?
Bingo.
Yeah, I got you, but my phone died, so I can't even give you an answer.
KJ, do you want to read it again?
No, my phone died.
Oh, okay. All
well,
right.
once everybody texts Jack their answer, you can say your answer before we give it up at the end.
Yeah.
So think about it, and don't worry, we'll give you a fair shot. Sound good?
It's all right. It's fine though. My phone died though. So.
But we need you to get on the scoreboard.
Yeah,
Don't worry, KJ. You'll get a chance at it. You'll get a fine crack at it. But here's a fine crack that's on the KJ. Eagles taking a crack at the draft this year. Howie Roseman, he usually fucks up the draft. We could actually benefit from it. Look, me and Ash were talking about it before the show tonight. I don't know what any of the hype around this Jalen Carter kid is for. He had 3 sacks last year. I know that people are saying that he could be one of the best defenders since Jerome Brown for the Eagles. You know, like, I don't know anything about this kid. Would you like the Eagles to draft? I know there's a lot of controversy around him. What's KJ McCoy's take?
So I do keep on hearing the hype about him, but honestly, I'd rather have Nolan Smith. I think Nolan Smith is actually going to strive in this Eagles defense. I think he's going to be great. I don't really see, I kind of agree with the whole Jalen Carter thing because it's kind of like the same thing with Jordan Davis where, like, people thought Jordan Davis was going to be so good. I mean, he still can be good, but, like, was he a sack monster? No, not at all. He was not a sack monster at Georgia. He was really a tackle guy. Like, that's like the thing. Like, he was a tackle, and then also he would come out, like, he would be in the rotation, so he would come out a good amount. So I feel like with Jalen Carter, I mean, I don't know too much about him, but from what I'm hearing and what I'm seeing as well with 3 sacks, I mean, if that's correct, then that's, like, doesn't make any sense why that he's, like, going to be a 10th pick. And I heard that also he's only speaking to the 10 teams that are selecting in the first 10 picks. He's only talking to them. So that's it. Like, besides that, he doesn't want to talk to – and I'm dead serious. That's true.
Yeah.
That is so crazy. No, you're right. But that is so messed up, I'm saying, on his part.
That's what he literally
saying,
said.
Ash?
I'm only talking to 10 teams. And that's the 10 teams that have the picks.
So, KJ, yes, I double-checked his stats about 4 times thinking that there had to be something more that I was missing here. And I did check his 2021 stats, too, to see, again, if they were significantly better. They were pretty much identical. I don't think he's worth us taking the number 10 spot, honestly. And again, I think they're going to be – I don't see the hype on him. And then, 2, especially with some of the controversy that's surrounding him and some of the legal trouble that he's gotten himself into, I just don't think that we need to bring somebody like that on board right now. That is my personal opinion on that.
I think the crazy thing is, too, I think he's actually going to fall out of the 10th pick. I think he's going to go past it, which is funny because he doesn't want to get interviewed by any of those teams. So I think he's going to get picked later. I think he might be like 20th pick or whatever, something like that.
Well, so if I was a GM and I'm like, all right, he's only talking to the first 10 pick or the first 10 teams that are picking the top 10 picks, I would be like super questionable because, like, if you really think you're that good, but your stats say you have 3 sacks and 2 forced fumbles, like, why are you worthy of the top 10 picks? Like, to me, that would just lower his draft stock 1,000%.
Turn off, yep.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, hey, look, I don't think we need a defensive tackle or somebody on the D-line because we got Katavius Street, guy from the Saints. We got Fletcher Cox, Brandon Graham, Derek Barnett's back. Like, I think our D-line is not as good as it was last year, obviously, but it's going to be good this year. I think we need to focus more so on a safety or a cornerback because, I mean, our front 4 is, monsters. Like, I just don't think it's worth signing somebody who has 3 sacks and 2 forced fumbles. Like, what, dude? Like, if you had double that, maybe I'll look at it. But come on now, like, that to me doesn't excite me at all.
And I know that people say stats don't define a player. And I'm sure that, if you go back and look at the tape, there's a lot of double teams and things like that. But Jack's right. We don't need another defensive tackle. And the whole attitude thing, I'm not talking to any teams outside the 10th pick. Like, if I was a team in the top 10, I'd be like, okay, I am not drafting you just for that attitude thing. That would be a major red flag to me because, like, what happens when your team sucks? I'm not playing for you because you suck. You know what I mean? Like, Do you really want a player to be out there like that you're spending this much draft capital on? It's just hard to understand. I mean, especially when you think about him, like, compared to a player like Will Anderson. I mean, with double-digit sacks the last 2 years, I mean, Will Anderson has been a stud. And I think that he's, in my opinion, if the Eagles need to go after anybody on the defensive line as a whole, it should be edge. And it would probably be Will Anderson, I think. Invest in the young core. I don't want Jalen Carter in Philly. I think that this could be a pick that would also be a lot like that Marcus. Who was the guy? Marcus Smith.
Marcus Smith.
That was like one of the dumbest fucking picks. Probably the dumbest fucking pick the Eagles have had.
Andre Dillard. Special. Dillard was bad too.
Dillard wasn't as bad as that pick. Marcus Smith, we got nothing out of. Like, at least Dillard came in for a couple games, would like rotate. Marcus Smith, we got nothing out of.
I think he got 1 sack and like a.
We went ape shit.
Like, he got 1 sack, and I think it was like a garbage game at like the end of the season where both teams like knew their fate with the playoffs already.
And he was projected like a 3rd-round pick. I remember that too. He was projected a 3rd-round pick, and we picked him in the 1st round, which was crazy. So we were flipping out about that. And I think I remember, too, one of the craziest picks that we had was probably where it did not work out at all. Danny Watkins. I mean, that was horrible. Danny Watkins was such a disappointment. I mean, I don't know why the heck they ever picked him.
We should do a graphic of this Ash draft bust.
Yeah.
A remake of that one, yeah. Was
Marcus Smith, Danny Watkins. We could probably put together a nice little list for you.
Let's
Nelson Aguilar.
Yeah, he's
Although Aguilar, I wouldn't necessarily.
He did, yeah. He's kind of 50-50. But
Rager,
for a first-round pick.
is my worst one. I hated that guy.
Okay, Rager, yeah.
Rager should be on there. Yeah. Take Aguilar off. I'm with Tom. Go ahead, Jack. Sorry.
No, I already talked. Go ahead.
Oh. I just wanted to was going to kick it to you because before we get into our last topic, sorry guys, I know it was a quicker show for you tonight, but not a lot going on right now, just as we're getting in the swing of baseball, getting ready to take off for the NBA playoffs, and then last but not least, the Eagles offseason. But we'll kick it to Jack for the trivia to keep you guys entertained. And KJ, you can say your answer when Jack's done reading it.
You got it.
Okay.
Time for everybody's favorite part of the show, 302 Trivia with your host, Jack Dorden, the mayor of Delaware.
Again, Fantasy Football Network, appreciate the sponsorship. Thanks again. The question we had tonight was, as the end of the 2020 season, how many Super Bowl championships have been won by NFC East teams? Or NFC East teams, yeah. As the end of the 2020 season, how many Super Bowl championships have been won by NFC East teams? The answers were A10, B11, C13, D15. Tom, I'm gonna give the wrong answers. Okay. So KJ, you're wrong. It was you said 15.
Yep.
That is not the right answer. Dalton said 10, which is A. That is not the right answer. Ash and Tom both said C, 13, which is the right answer.
Okay.
Damn, fuck you, Dutch.
And then
Ballpark Tommy knows more football than you, Dutch.
Yeah, Dutch. Fuck you, Dutch.
And then for the fans, Segs got the answer correct.
All right, that counts. So Segs carrying the fans this week.
Exactly. So again, the answer was C13. Thanks again for giving the answers and everything like that. Appreciate it.
So now the updated score, I'll read it out real quick. Fans got 3, KJ's got 3, Sean's got 2, I got 3, Ash has got 5, and Tommy Boy is on the scoreboard with 1. Welcome to the scoreboard, Tom. He's back from dying. We're glad to have him back, though. It's been we missed you, especially in the thick of baseball season.
Especially JJ missed you.
Well, the thick of spring training season, I should have said. It was dry out here without you, buddy. But I did hear an article today that apparently Jalen Hurts could be taking one for the team on his contract situation. Here's how I feel about this. I like Jalen Hurts as a person. So let's pretend that I'm Jalen Hurts' agent for a second. If that's the case, I'm saying you need to get guaranteed money in the door right now. If I'm an Eagles fan, I'm saying push it off so that we can go for another Super Bowl. Ideally, what's going to happen, we need to meet somewhere in the middle. I think what the Eagles should most likely look at doing is signing Jalen Hurts to probably a 6 or 7 year contract so that they can push some money off later. What the Eagles probably should look at doing is trying to do a little bit of guaranteed money in year 2, less money in maybe year 3, and less money this year. I think if you told Jalen, hey, give me one more year, go for it, and then if we don't get it, then we'll pay you, that's fair. Like, I think he just saw what you just did. I think if he takes too much, you don't have that extra space that there's going to be a couple free agents after the draft that are going to go to teams. I mean, it always happens. Teams are going to be like, okay, where are holes after the draft? What do we need? Then after that, that's when you can sign a couple of these key players and holes that you have. Like there might be a safety that comes out of the blue that we see, like that just comes in for depth. So that's really the key that this contract could play into, that where you have that extra spending money post draft. So in my opinion, I would love if Jalen Hurts did this as a fan, but as like a individual that respects Jalen Hurts and somebody that, would tell him to do what's best for himself, I don't think any NFL player should put off money, especially a quarterback, because that position is so injury prone. Not saying Jalen is, just the position is, but there's so many things that could go wrong. So I don't know. That's my personal opinion. What do you think, Jack?
Injury prone. I don't think it's a right statement that quarterback is injury prone.
I think we're just used to Carson.
Yeah, that's true.
That's why.
This goes to show the character of Jalen Hurts, that he's willing to take less money to be on the Eagles. Okay, I don't think you should do that. I think you should go for as much as you can get and how much we can offer. I also heard that rumors they may do Pat Mahomes deal, which I don't think will be smart at all for him. But I agree with Dalton, like a 7-year deal. I think it'll be a smart decision. And I mean, this man deserves to get paid because he's done so much for this team in the 3 years he's been here. Technically 3.5 years. And he took a team that was a first round out in the playoffs last season to the Super Bowl. Like, this man deserves every nickel and dime we can offer, because this man is bigger than the game. His character, he is well deserved of all the money he can get, for sure.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
So yeah, I guess I'll pretty much piggyback off that as well. I do believe that Jalen Hurts deserves the great amount of money. I think he deserves to be the highest paid quarterback in that kind of, I would say, that kind of topic, because I mean, as Jack just said, from a first round out team. That's what I was trying to say. First round out team from a Super Bowl team is just crazy. I mean, the amount of improvement that he made and just the poise that he showed this year was just insane. So, I mean, as a Jalen Hurts fan, it was awesome to watch him do that. It was great to see him just prove people wrong. I mean, I know we didn't win, but in my book, you know what? He proved a lot of people wrong who thought he could not play quarterback, who thought he could not bring the Eagles to a championship game, and he did. He did. He didn't win it, but he was able to bring them to the Super Bowl. So you know what? That's what I see from Jalen Hurts, and you got to pay the man. You got to pay the man. If you have the money, pay him because he deserves it. And it's cool of him that he's showing that he's not one of those guys. I mean, we've seen it right now. You've seen it with Lamar Jackson, who really just wants the money. He's not really about the team exactly. He really wants the money, the best thing for him. And I mean, I get that. But at the same time, Jalen is really what other quarterbacks should really be. And that's a good teammate and somebody who really cares about the product on the field and being there for the rest of his teammates. So that's what I think about Jalen Hurts. Pay the man. But you know what? If we have to get a little setback and give him money later, I think he'll be all for it. I do.
And one thing I do want to say, too, nowadays in the NFL, you don't need to just make money from the Philadelphia Eagles organization. Like, you can be what's called a multiple income. You can have multiple income streams. There we go. Sorry, Tom. Hamster's getting on the wheel. But in all seriousness, I think that's the beautiful part is Jalen Hurts can go out and get these brand deals as one of the most popular players in the NFL. I know he had a deal with Lemon Perfect, a lemon water company. I was drinking their water during the year just because Jalen Hurts had the deal. I swear to God. I thought it was that cool. So just because Jalen Hurts cannot make money from the Eagles maybe next year or the following year doesn't mean he can go out and get these awesome brand deals. He's got a great agent, a great team around him. I think that the sky's the limit for this kid. And he's got a great personality. He's got $1 million smile. Everywhere he goes, he's happy, he's upbeat. And I mean, in a city like Philadelphia, that's all we ask of you. I mean, play hard and have a good attitude. And no matter what happens on the field, win or lose, we'll have your back. Just have a good attitude. And we're lucky enough that this guy's a winner. Like, he is a winner. And I just can't wait to see what he does long term, but we'll see.
Ash,
Tom, anybody?
Yeah, I can take this one. Obviously it's great to hear that he's willing to take one for the team, but I think definitely in this situation he has proven that he is worth a very hefty contract, and I hope that he definitely gets what he is asking for, or at least somewhere in that ballpark. I do hope that we are kind of able to kind of say, you know, are we okay if we push this back a year, go for it all this year, and then kind of regroup in a year. I think that's kind of like the best case scenario, as Dalt said, kind of meeting somewhere in the middle. But yeah, I mean, I'm very curious to see where this goes. And again, I'm super excited to see where Jalen gets to take this team, because he is an overall team approach player, which is very different than a lot of the other quarterbacks that we're seeing, as KJ said, like Lamar Jackson, who right now just seems to be all over the place in what he's asking for, or like Aaron Rodgers, who I feel for any Jets fans right now who are just sitting in idle waiting for something to happen with that. So,
Yeah,
that's painful. The Aaron Rodgers situation is so painful.
Yep.
It really is. Jets fans just they can't get anything right. They just
no, they can't.
Poor
Tommy, what are your thoughts?
I think it's great. I hope he takes a friendly deal so we can win some Super Bowls like Tom Brady used to do. And yeah, that's about all I got for that.
Perfect. Well, I mean, that's all we got for you guys tonight. Pretty short show. I appreciate everybody coming out tonight who did. I do want to remind you guys, if you guys aren't doing anything on 4/20, come out to Klondike Kate's. We will be there having a fundraiser for the Eagles Autism Challenge, a celebrity guest bartender night. We're going to have a ton of awesome people on deck. We got Philly Sports Guy. We got E-Rock. We got me and KJ. We got Eagles Demon, who's going to be coming. We got Chris Nady, a.k.a. Gardner Minshew. A ton more. Jack's going to be behind the bar helping us out. Uncle Chase should be coming down. There's going to be a ton of people in the house. So you're definitely going to want to come out to this event. 100% of tips are benefiting the Eagles Autism Challenge. So please tip hefty. Anyways, that's all we got for you guys tonight. Thanks for coming to another great episode of 302 Birds. Don't forget to smash the hell out of that subscribe button and like the video for us. And last but not least, I will kick it to Jackson to do what he does best.
Yes. So I got an update on little Peppy Zeppy. So him and I were talking about it today. And he should be back on the show starting like around mid-May. And so that'll be good to have him back. He is really missing not being part of it. But since you're not here, Josh, in your absence, it's an outro, not an intro.
Not abstinence.
I said abstinence.
Abstinence.
It's also, by the way, guys, all the fans out there, happy Easter.
Yep.
Be holy. Get good eggs.
Passover tonight. Passover started tonight.
Yes.
Yeah.
So anyway, other than that,
Passover as well.
Josh, it's an outro, not an intro. Hit that outro.